Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of Railway Empire 2. I am in the loading screen for a reason, and that reason is last time when I was doing my recording, we left at the end of May, November 1843, 207 stations. I have been working a lot, as you can see, at some point to 18, but I've been working a lot and I will going to show you in a bit. So let's load up the game. But what I did is basically setting up most of the network. Well, actually, yeah, setting up the network in most of Italy. Not all of that. There's a little bit that needs to be done still. But I did most of Italy by now. I also realized I have forgotten about something, and we will do that in the game if my finances permit. But since I've done most of Italy, and the part I forgot about is this Boucher Quarry Fontaine well, and apparently there's some private property which, if I'm not mistaken, is having iron mine. To be precise, La Croix. So I need to add this part to my network, and that's going to be with 3 stations, 1, 2, and 3. Connect it to Grosseto, and from that point on. But what I've been doing, and let's zoom out to the max, I didn't have all of this yet. So I've been connecting Trieste to Venice, and from that point on we went south to San Marino, Grosseto, Florence, Milan, Trent. I tried to go up to Dalmayer, but I couldn't get that one working. So I have to figure out how to do that, and that's solved. What needs to be done is the connection to Pescara, Roma, Foggia, and Naples. And I will probably, as well as this, do that later, but my finances are low. So that's where all my investment, my time investment went to. Now, that's one thing. Of course, that also means that I have more research available right now. Go the other way. First of all, my so longed for counter pressure brakes. Reduction of maintenance requirements by 5%. If we go to the engine shed and we look at Le Continent, which is the last train of the era, the current maintenance requirements are 56%. Let's unlock this one. Then the next 30 points, so next month I can actually unlock the funding program. And later I can do the condensation tender. It's not really that much of a requirement. But we had a 56% maintenance requirement, and currently it's down to 52%. So that's a big drop, which means this one is more reliable actually. It requires less maintenance. So that's the good thing. Next research will be funding program, cost of in-service training in the personnel office, which means training will drop here. They are already happy at 125%. So everything is at my max over here, except for him. I'm not really bothered with that at the moment. So that is the next one. Then company-wise, I got at the last, so early March, I had 1.9 million. This is all my investment. But what's more important is this. We only had 1 million more in revenue. So we also had 1 million more in the quarterly results. But we once again increased our value compared to hers. That's more important. Not to mention, my next connection will be probably from Milano. Let's bring up guidelines. Milano along him to Torino, then up here, and I have to figure out if I'm going through the giraffe fattening to Nice or if I'm going to follow the coastline. Either way will require big investment. After that, farmstead, breeding, logging to Marseille, so clothing, meat, Montpellier, more meat, Perpignan, and that brings up the next choice. Am I going to Toulouse, because I do have the Languedoc-Roussillon area unlocked, or am I going down from Perpignan to Aragon and Catalonia, and later Old Castile, Leon, Portugal, and Galicia to Guyenne and Gascony, because that's Spain. I do have an idea how to do that, and basically that's Perpignan, Barcelona, follow this one, get a split off for the fattening, then Leon, Reims, Zaragoza, those two is not connected, at least not with a direct connection. Montero Estate, Burgos going down, Valdez, Salamanca, Mendes, Guzman, Mendoza, Porto, or I go Salamanca and immediately that, but yeah, so that's a choice because of the sugar. Porto, then along Andres to Coruña, having those three added later, Martin and Jimenez, Duran, Oviedo, Leon, etc., all the way to Bayonne, and from that point on I can go up to Bordeaux. That basically means I got her entirely locked in with only one option, which is cross from the Gull Quarry somewhere into England, while for me We can go from Brussels, Lille, Le Mans to Dover, which will, let's remove the headlines, bring up new opportunities with the train from Amsterdam, because I can go to London. Actually, Oxford, Cambridge too, but I can move on to London, and from London I can actually start expanding all over Britain. But first, Italy. This will be done next before I go on circling, and adding that will be done too. Now, I did make a mistake when I was starting up. I had everything worked out fine. I went in from Venice, went down to San Marino, everything went well. Got to Grosseto and realized, hey, if I want to have my cargo station here on the south side, that's fine. Then I went on to Florence, so D'Amico, went to Florence, wanted to do the same thing and realized that's not going to work. But at the time I already had laid all tracks up to Milano. So I had to put the cargo stations in at some point, and I really didn't know how. Eventually I managed, but we got a very ugly crossing coming up, because this is my passenger, and at some point the cargo train will move, as you can see underneath. Something similar happened over here. I really had to figure out how to get everything over here done and to get it connected to Venice. But I managed. So we have a clockwise and a counterclockwise route running from Trieste, and I'm going to take the clockwise, Trieste to Venice, San Marino, Grosseto, Florence, Milano, Trent, Venice, Trieste. And that's what we're going to ride today, at least for a while. FSI is the, what was it? Hang on. I was having, yeah, FSI, Ferrovie dello Stato Italiane, or that. But looking at everything, I also saw that Italia is the most important one. So that means I'm going to rename everything from here first. After that, we're going to run it in the clockwise way. Good thing is it's only 4 trains. So I think FSI is actually the one owning the tracks itself, while the trains are run by another company. It's similar to what the Dutch have. Dutch National Dutch National Railways. Look at this. It's never going to race. The Dutch National Railways are operated by what's called NS, Nederlandse Spoorwegen, aka Netherlands Railroads, but the tracks and everything of the infrastructure is actually called ProRail. So, off to Venice. As you can see, 8 tracks, because I had 2. Well, it's a hub, so are always becoming 8 tracks. The only exception, one of the few exceptions, is Venice. That's only because I have trains coming in from both sides over here. So this is the part leading into Austria and Balkan states, and this is heading along the Alps. Something is going in front of us. The other passenger train, the counterclockwise. Venice is because both the clockwise and the counterclockwise one merges over there. So landscape enjoyment today. Then we also have another one coming. This is the cargo tracks, and each and every time we have this stop, at least it's something I figured out lately, or think I figured out lately. Each and every time we have this stop, it means that it was a connection point at some point. Also, my trains, some of them should actually stop here and do maintenance, and some will go on. And I've set it up counterclockwise ones are doing maintenance because I realized that at some point I was having a single station and, well, also running into 3 stations in the end. So by adding the first rural station as a maintenance post for my trains, I actually made sure that the train would be able to run without a problem. And the other ones are behind us. One mail train and one passenger train. No, and another mail train waiting. So, my income plus 4 million. Let's check because I didn't do that previously. This also means I can unlock my next part of research. So 38 million revenue. And freight and passengers are still quite close actually. Freight and passengers and mail, it's all 12 million. Production is improving. This was a connection bonus of the city. Can't remember which one. Or no, it was a bonus for adding new industry. So everything is actually going up, but that's going down. That's a nice one. Although the number of delays is still increasing. That's not a nice one. So I have to keep an eye on the breakdowns. Anything else? No need to look at. As I said, personnel training. So let's see. Training 25,557. And this means I have 10 months to go for the compensation training. 25,557, 24,346. So that's actually a nice improvement. Mail train, clockwise, counterclockwise, waiting for him. So let's go, because we're going to encounter cargo trains as well now. And this also means we're going through the Alps, and that Italian mountain ridge, which I can't pronounce in English because I don't know the name in English. I can't bother with that. But that means lots of tunnels, occasionally some bridges, difference in height and whatever. Quite often little parts dug out like we have over here. So Venice and no lagoon here actually. So I've got 8 tracks, which means the 4-track grid island in the center, giving me the opportunity to use 4 tracks for both directions for the trains, and that also means the clockwise ones are going using track 1 to 4, while counterclockwise ones are using tracks 5 to 8. And with that I'm actually able to split trains without them having too many problems running into stuff. So he got 2 cars for Trent. There's the counterclockwise mill. And the clockwise is just running in. You can't see that. There we got a cargo train. So the area to Trento, or Trent, is quite complicated. I had quite some problems building all of this. I had to demolish stuff. Rebuild it, demolish it again, rebuild it in a different shape, until eventually everything fit. It wasn't easy, but it was fun to do, though it did cost me a lot of time. I think to get everything ready, all of this, and now we can enjoy the landscape. Look at this. So beautiful. And we're going to do maintenance here. If I'm not mistaken, because we did 2 stations. But get all of it done has taken me 7 or 8 hours real time. So, go on. That's a quick one for maintenance actually. So we're off to San Marino. It's fun to know that we're driving along the Adriatic coast, that we have trains running at the other side over there somewhere, but you can't actually see them. And we also have trains, you see it over there, running at that point. Look at the Alps. Lovely. Meanwhile, we see some cargo trains from the bus to the city over there. At least by the time this is all done, I've got enough money to connect those three. Rural industries on the island of Corsica. Maybe even have enough funds to start working on going south. This is actually one of the things that made it so complicated. The height lines force me to go up and down all the time, even with the stations. Certainly didn't make things easy. So we get this, as you can see. Let's go on, because the train's in a hurry. So we're going to get a very long stretch now as we're going to cross Italy. Going through mountain paths. thinking I should actually let this game run for a while. I was thinking that if I let this game run for a while before actually doing the tour, we're getting more of the cargo trains running, which in fact may have this game look a little bit more crowded over here. Then this works too. And currently, I can show you, we're crossing this path. As you can see, I really checked what was the best approach. Now, one of the things that's still puzzling me is how to make the connection between my northern ring and the southern ring. I was thinking to use Parisi Station, but that's a maintenance post, and for it I will need something like a hotel to make money out of the what's the name, all the passengers. But I also need the post office, and I can build only two things. So one option is to take D'Angelo train station. No, take Parisi Station. But I have to come in from San Marino, which means at D'Angelo I can go down to Pescara, along to the Trog, Foggia, connect here, or connect here even. Then Naples, Rome, and connect to Parisi. But that means that either one of those two will have to do the replacement for the mail. So I can do one for passenger like D'Angelo, and I can do one for mail like Parisi. And having the southern circle train run partially along these tracks. But then again, problem, I need to bend. So I know I have to do this circle, but the connection to him is currently bugging me, especially given that I'm using multiple trains, multiple tracks here. So I haven't figured out yet. Another option I may do is actually build myself a fake station. So like building a station, for instance, here, and set it up with a post office and a hotel, and only have the trains running that one. That way there's no other connection. That's currently the one I'm thinking of most. It will mean I have to change a few things, but in general it feels like the best option to me. So simply a fake transfer station. There's a cargo train we spotted a little bit ahead of us. And this is also going to be the part where and we're going to do that strange crossing. And of course we get this because I'm working in mountainous areas. With everything applied to it. So we'll unlock this one. Because of that, having the station on the southern side, this is the high ridge we just passed. And this is the problem I was facing. All those height lines. This is the lowest point. So I had to build this one, and then you get the thing here with the bridge, which in a way is nice because you have this road leading there, and the road almost, not entirely, almost leads to the bridge. Yeah, that's how things look now. Meanwhile, we have Rosetta supply there. We have the clockwise mail train, 4 cars, and let's see, supply to Venice, San Marino, and we already have the next mail train going there. Curious. Oh, I have one with the wrong name. We'll look after that later. Curious where the other trains are. That's a supply. Well, we'll see, sooner or later. As you can see, the next stop will do maintenance. And I realize I forgot something very important. So let's fix this first. Otherwise I will run into a problem at some point. So this part is not a bad idea. Second passenger, second mirror, okay. Right, because I all of a sudden realized this. And we're off for maintenance. sure if slash when it will actually start to its supply on sand, water and oil. It will at some point. No idea when. Will do maintenance on D'Amico West. Look at the cash flow, that's going fast now. Bump. Did it really bump over there? Maintenance time is feeling like it's longer. But did a bump over there? There's the mail train. Yeah, it looks like it's doing a bump. But it isn't only looking like it is doing a bump over there. So somehow the tracks there aren't connected properly. Is we're getting more traffic going on, which is nice. Well, we're also off to Fiorentina. That's a quick one. Most passengers just got out. Okay. Well, that'll improve once he is bringing in more resources. I'm afraid we're going to get the train fluid cacophony again for a while, and if we do, sorry for that, there's nothing I can do about it. Unless there are secretly sending signals. Also climbing a bit, I think. Isn't that our other passenger train? Or is it the mail train? It's the mail train. Then where's the passenger train? Now we'll see. This is the part I like the most about this track. Coastline travel and everything with it. And I have to, come on, do this.
Expect you to stay out of my business in the future.
Ah, no, but I won. So eventually I paid less as her first bid. But we got those breweries, which was very important. Like I said, this is what I like. Look. Bridge all along the water. It's very nice. So let's go again. Now the funny part is, he's going to catch up because of the way the drive wheels are set, and eventually, because this one is having a higher maximum speed instead of good acceleration, we're going to catch up on him again. Kind of already happening right now. This is what I meant about the flex, the lines, the way things are going. Going down so the other man may catch up again on us. Not going to look backwards because we're going to get another nice part. Although the counterclockwise may actually have less problems here. Please supply. You barely see it. There's the one. There's a passenger or a mail train heading my direction. Let's see if I can stop it in time. Check was it actually mail train. Because that's mail train number 2. Back to the Alps again. Like I said, the look of the landscape is great. It's absolutely great. But we do get a lot of cargo trains riding over there, so. Well, there it is, Milano. Lots of cargo traffic. Not as much passenger traffic yet. So let's see how many passengers actually are. Not that many. Once again, we're going to race the Rhine next to us. Except this one may actually stop. No, not at this. I think at this stop. For some maintenance. That's mail. Mail number 3. Oh, the Lucas over there. So we will continue for a bit. I seem to lose just as much money as I'm gaining. That's not really something I'd like to see. Okay, maintenance. Oh, that's why. That's why it wasn't working. I only had one train. That's why I didn't see the passengers. Right, now we solved that problem. So let's go again. Off to Trento. At least it's able to run at full speed. The train, that is. But we solved one problem, which is nice. At least I'm going to see more trains coming towards us now. And it also explained why my money wasn't going up that much as I thought it would. Look at this. Nice and flat. We're going into Spain, we will see something similar. There's the other mail train. There's no mail because we weren't transporting passengers from that station. So there goes one of my other trains. I think this is one of my longest tunnels. Maybe even the longest. Now anyway. Look at this. Like I said, I had to go through lots of hoops to get this right. But I managed to, and the result is what we see out here. Lots of bridges and other stuff. In a way, does make things look good. And a nice part compared to Railway Empire 1, I can do multiple tracks next to each other in a tunnel like these 8 leading to the station. attento. Whoa, look at this. Seven almost full cars. That was the mill. First mill. So off to Venice. Wait, was that the mill? Yeah, the one following. It will probably end up with a full amount of cars as well. So 6, 5 full and 1 partial. And as you can see, we already moved from this to that. Split with the grid iron is already being made. So we came from there. Now we're going to do the other one. With all crossing under cargo tracks as well. So there's a new passenger. Is this 2? Probably. Yeah. 3 passenger cars. Hey, this isn't supposed to be like that, so I have to rebuild the part again. the last cargo station before we get to our destination. Rendering is going wrong every once in a while. Seeing all of this as if the beams and the tracks are actually floating on dirt instead of being directly on it. There it is, and if I'm not mistaken, there's another passenger train from the other side. Which also means that this is working as I have intended it. Which is everything clockwise is on track 2 and 4, everything counterclockwise on track 1 and 3. Mail and mail, passenger and passenger. And there's the other train coming in. This is ugly. So we will have 2 passenger trains entering Trieste within a couple of minutes. And at the other 2 platforms we've got other trains waiting. Mail on the passenger from the Austrian part of the tracks. See, and this works too, because that And that track are meant for the mail trains. 47k in the last one. $39 on the counterclockwise. There's the counterclockwise mail train. I missed him. Look at that, 214 mail. Yeah, it's increasing distance, probably either because of the number 3 that's running, because I made a mistake of
You stole that from me.
because the number 3 is there, because I made a mistake of only using one train instead of 4. So that's why it's increasing distance, but now it's starting to run. And that one has 146 mail, because yeah, I got a double service running to Vienna all the time. So I bought something here too, I thought. Yeah. So the trip is done. Now I need to add this. Which is going to be fun. And we've got iron and clay coming in. We've got coal over there. So it will make sense if the iron chemicals and the pottery is done in Florence, but I can't do that. So I have to do that in Grosseto part. Righto. Start by building stations and bring up the height lines. This won't be easy actually. Those are the easy ones, in a way. See if I can remove those bridges. Yep. Still getting one bridge, okay. And the tunnel is a little bit longer, no problem. Just in case I will need more trains coming in here. Same will be done here. So that's one part. Now, how to add him. Or should I redo and do it what I had in mind first? Crossing, but I need to do lots of tunnels twice. There's a third option. there. That one. 2.3 million with all the tunnels and don't see much use of trying to avoid. Yeah, maybe I can avoid something here. I think this is the best I can do. Yep. I still have connected that salt. And I'm not planning to build another bridge. What I can do is start over. Oh, here. And up there. And do what I had in mind in the first place. Which means a lot of zigzagging. Another option, need this, is to go down here, set a station and split it off in two directions. is an option. Which means I have to demolish everything from there on. Okay, let's see. Train station. Night lines. This is not going to work. I think I'm going to stick to my very first plan. With one exception. Sometimes you need such a tiny piece. Hey. Something like that. Yeah. Can't make anything better out of it. Like I said, I'm partially going to stick to my original plan. The only difference is, since I don't need that station yet, that's the one going to be connected last. Downside, trains have to do a very long trip before they're able to get there. But I may be able to solve that later. Especially once I'm doing this. Because with the bypass tracks, things will be a lot easier. I let's remove that ugly green part. That's a big beer. Yeah, never mind. Right, now I've got that part. Not happy with this. Problem is solved, but I'm not happy with the solution. Time for the very nice part. Shoot. I'm afraid that what I have in mind won't work. Oh, it does. Lucky me. At least almost lucky me. Not so lucky me. So what I did is making sure that at least this station is connected to the network and to those three. The whole problem I currently have to face is I am able to get everything nicely added to my network. That's no problem. What is a problem is that I also need to go north. So I have to make a second split. Which eventually has to end up there. So at least that problem is solved. Let's add some water supply to everything. And I think one of those small islands is Elba, but I can't remember which one. Don't think it's him. I think it's one of those two. So that part's done. What I'm going to do now, first of all, I need to get money again. Good. Building this has and getting that brewery has hit me pretty hard on the finances. I may do one more thing. Guidelines. Um, I don't think there's much I can do about that other than Yep. Okay, that's done. Now I need to get multiple tracks here. So I'm able to use Fiorentina and Grosseto for the iron processing and pottery construction. That's the plan. Hopefully I'm able to get this without too many problems. Should I build another one at the other side, or no? I got 4 tracks coming into 2. Yes, I will do the same thing, sort of. It's not the most beautiful solution, but it's one that certainly is going to work. Because I don't need to extend to the last 2 platforms now. Okay, so I've got the coal and the clay connected for the pottery. We've got the salt, which I'm going to need not for a while. 70,000 citizens. Then do the chemicals, so all of that is done. And I think with this I'll end it for today. Next week I will do a different approach. Instead of setting up everything in advance, I will do it, quotes, live again. Because I need to think. I think my solution, the solution I currently have in mind, is to have Parisi station and a fake station here for the transfer of the passengers, or I simply add a fake station and that's it. Fake station with a hotel and a post office where all my 4 trains will stop. 4 lines stop to transfer, so people can move on to this one. I haven't used a hotel yet, so it will be fun, but I think that will be the best solution, considering I have multiple rural industries over here I can actually use to do maintenance. That'll be next week. For now, thank you for watching, and I hope you've been enjoying this. I did. I've got to think I'm missing something here. But yeah, I've been enjoying this, and I hope you did too. I hope to see you next week. Have a good week, everybody, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.